What's going on, Player Profiler Nation? Welcome to the latest episode of Trade Gods. I am your co-host, Matty Kiwoom, and I am joined by my right-hand man, my fellow Trade God brethren, the morning man himself, Mr. Jason Allwine. What is going on, Jay?
Nothing too much, man. We've had a good pre-show. We're about to have a great guest. We're about to talk trades. It's Thursday night, man. Always excited to be here.
Oh, baby. So let's just get right on into it. Jason, you teased that very special guest, but should we just bring him right on and get a crack-a-lackin'?
Yeah, man. Not often do we get to share the stage with a future millionaire. This guy and I drafted a Best Ball Mania 4 draft, and it's actually the winner. We've got $3 million on the way coming next year. This is my man, Tyler Knaeble. Welcome on.
Let's go. What he's not going to tell you about that Best Ball team is we need the Kyle Trask, Mike Evans, and Chris Godwin stack to really carry us to that $3 million. So, but if the Buccaneers finish like 12-5 this year, we're probably winning $3 million. So
the Baker Stizzy, I like that. That will give you some variance when you're trying to win that bazillion. Oh, you don't have Baker. Oh, Trask stack. The Trask stack.
Yeah.
My brain couldn't even conceptualize that. But hey, that is the variance you need if you want to take down the Millie. But some of our listeners here, they want to take down some trades in their Dynasty week. I mean, in their Dynasty leagues. Boys, happy Dynasty week.
Let's go. Let's go.
Love Dynasty. Let's get it.
Dynasty week has been fantastic here at Player Profiler. We have so many awesome things coming out this week. Everything is geared toward helping you win in Dynasty leagues. We had a mock draft on Sonic Truth. We've had great guests. We've all planted our flag on a particular player, and you've started seeing those videos come out now. Very, very excited. So we are going to be breaking down a lot of Dynasty trades. We had to ramp it up for Dynasty Week, so you're going to want to stick around and see all of the trades here next.
Hey, I want to take a moment to thank you for tuning in. It's important to me that all of our media be free, and one of our key missions is to make as much statistics and information and deep analysis available on playerprofiler.com for free. This is only possible because of you allowing a true independent sports media enterprise to thrive unlike any other in the business. So please subscribe to the All In package to continue to make all this possible. If you can't do All In, that's okay. We have a draft kit. Or you can just subscribe to the player rankings. Those now include tight end premium FFPC ranks, our brand new data analysis package will blow your hair back. And of course, there's our Dynasty Deluxe and our DFS Dominator. Take a moment, check out our premium services to ensure that all of our stats, information, data, content is available to you, especially you, the people that get the site and get the show.
Get into all that is Player Profile. Get that all in package. Use the promo code. You can use Jason. It's okay. But if you want to use Matty, Matty. It's just so much easier. Jason, is it a Y? Blah, blah, who knows? Use that promo code.
Same amount of letters.
There's a fair point. It's fair point. And I'm the idiot that had a shorter and I could have went with Matty. Then it tied. All right, that's not a point here. Let's dive into trade number one. Tyler, we got some doozies here, and we're going to start off with an absolute banger. This is a 12-team PPR Superflex tight end premium start 9. Tyler Hawkinson, Jordan Love, Najee Harris, and to get those 3 players, they're sending away Bryce Young in 2.24 seconds. What are your thoughts here on this trade?
I think I like the Hawkinson side, especially if it's tight end premium, just because I feel like you're getting 2 of the 3 better pieces. Like Hawkinson's better than a second. I feel like Najee Harris is valued more than a second right now as well. So the only slight downgrade, and we don't even know if it's for sure a downgrade yet, would be the Jordan Love, Bryce Young factor. But you never know. Jordan Love could just come in, set the world on fire, and then he has probably better weapons around him right now to do so. So I think I definitely take the Hawkinson Love Najee side.
You get a lot of firepower there, Jason. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm right there in line. I'm definitely taking the left side in this trade. Bryce Young could be good. he could be Jordan Love, as Tyler already said. So I'm right there with him. 224 seconds. I would definitely take Hawkinson and Najee Harris, and the difference between Bryce Young and Jordan Love, we don't even know yet. So it's definitely hard to I couldn't come anywhere near calling the gap Najee Harris and TJ Hawkinson. Can't even come close to that. So far and away, give me that left side.
Yeah, guys, I don't really have a whole lot to add here. Bryce Young, even if he is light years better than Jordan Love, I mean, 2 seconds for Najee and Hawkinson. I think we'd both run that straight to the bank, cash that son of a gun to get those 2 players. Because let's face it, if you were in a league and you sent one of your league mates, here, take my 24-second for Hawkinson in TEP, you're getting laughed at. Here, take my 24-second and give me Najee. You're getting laughed at. So I don't think the difference between Young and Love is anywhere close to the rest. So, guys, we're all on the same page here. Getting those 3 players is a no-doubter. Start 9. I mean, you're not even starting a whole lot of guys, so you need those studs. And Najee, people forget he was nasty as a rookie. Even last year, he averaged like 14 points a game, I think. I mean,
Najee closed the year out really well last year.
You did.
Yes, exactly. And this year, we like his schedule right going in. So I think that is a trade you absolutely make. Good job, Team A. Let's see if the second trade is as favorable. Let's dive right in. It's another 12-teamer PPR Superflex tight end premium, but in this one, you're starting 10. A whole lot of Ravens. Is this an all Ravens league? I don't know if I've seen a trade. Jason, have we ever had a trade where every single player was on the same offense?
I don't think so. If we have, we definitely glossed over it. If so I think this is probably a first.
Yeah, you know how in fantasy baseball you play in like AL leagues, they're just playing in like an AFC, an AFC North league.
Exactly. Yeah, baseball does the AL only, NL only. This is a AFC North only. Anyway, J.K. Dobbins going to Team A. And to get a running back of J.K. Dobbins' stature, they're sending away both of the new Ravens pass catchers, Odell Beckham and Zay Flowers. Jason, which side are you taking here in this Raven on Raven crime?
Yeah, I mean, given it's an AFC North only league, I'm surprised this guy didn't try to get like maybe T. Higgins or like a Bengals player and just went for Baltimore Ravens wide receivers. But hey, it is what it is. Either way, I think I am probably going to take the Ravens wide receiver side. One of these guys is going to hit, and the other one is probably going to be okay. And I mean, I feel like kind of the same concerns we have with both of these players. We have with J.K. Dobbins, injury history, not quite sure how much volume he's going to get with a rushing quarterback. For the pass catchers, not quite sure how much volume they're going to get because there's so many other weapons in the offense. Mm-hmm. But you're getting 2 of them. You're getting 2 bullets, as we always say. And I think I'm going to take that side. Plus, you get the youth with Zay Flowers. I do love J.K. Dobbins, but I think I'm falling in line here on the wide receivers for some reason.
Tyler, where do you fall on this side of the trade?
Yeah, well, we got some news in the past hour about J.K. Dobbins. Apparently, he didn't practice today because he wants a contract. He wants a contract extension.
Nice.
Which seems like he's played 2 years in the league? And like, no offense to J.K. Dobbins, but like, has he earned a contract extension? Like, he had a decent rookie year, then he was hurt, so that's obviously not really his fault. And he comes back and he's still kind of dealing with the injury last year, but like, I don't know. It seemed kind of wild to me. Usually, like the people you hear of contract extensions, it's like, Lamar or like just these big name guys, and then you got J.K. Dobbins trying to get more money, trying to squeeze a little bit more money. So hey, all power to him. But all right, back to the trade.
I'm with you though, brother. I'm with you there.
You know what I mean? Like, it just seems kind of crazy.
It was like Elijah Moore. It was like when Elijah Moore's like, pay me. It was like, guy, what?
Yeah.
You played like 8 games.
Hey, all fairness to Elijah Moore, he was held in Zach Wilson prison.
Of course.
He was thrown in the depths. All fairness to him. All right, back to the trade. I think I'm with Jason on this. I'll definitely take Beckham and Flowers because, I mean, I think they passed the ball a lot more this year. By all accounts and reports, it sounds like that's going to be the case. And I'm just not really a big J.K. Dobbins guy, so that doesn't help either. I do think it's close though. Like, I don't think this is a crazy like fleece or anything. I think it's a very close trade. I think I just prefer the Beckham Flowers side.
This is pretty close. I will say I really like this strategy from Team B. If you're getting Zay Flowers, I mean, Odell's probably a throw-in here. So to kind of hedge your bets, to kind of give yourself kind of a win now and win later flexibility, I do like that. So if I were to trade for Flowers and somehow Beckham was on that same roster, or even if he wasn't, I think I might try to do something like this to kind of group the two up just in case. But having said that, I'm still going to take Dobbins. I love Zay Flowers long term, but I think you can get a lot out of J.K. Dobbins over the next couple of years. Now, if he holds out, that's going to change my mind completely. So, Tyler, thank you for bringing that to the table. But right here, let's just say that he does not. He plays in week 1 and beyond. He showed enough last year in his performance profile in terms of breakaway run rate, juke rate, yards per touch, yards created per touch, to give me some confidence that he'll be good in this offense. Todd Monken hopefully brings that more balanced approach, which then gives J.K. Dobbins not this stacked front that he was going against last year. Last year, he had to go against about 36% stacked front carry rate, which was first in the NFL. Get him away from that. I like him here, but you guys are right. It is pretty close. And Team B, kudos to grabbing both of these receivers. I think that definitely made it a hell of a lot closer, in my opinion. Trade number 3. Ooh, big quarterbacks getting tossed around here. Holy cannoli. Trey Lance, a 24 first, a 24 first, a 24 first, a 24 second for Turbo, Herbert, and Ken Walker. This is a 12-team PPR Superflex, 2 tight end, 1.75 tight end premium. I don't know why I'm saying that because there are no tight ends in this trade. Start 12. Tyler, franchise quarterbacks are being dealt here. What do you think?
See, I think Justin Herbert's a great buy in Dynasty right now, and it's kind of crazy where I took him in that recent startup that we're all doing a part of the whole that Dynasty startup league, and Justin Herbert last year was like in that same tier with Burrow and like Josh Allen. Like he was being drafted as a top 5 quarterback in startup drafts. So I'm like, when he's there to me and he's like, I got him as like the QB, like I think it was like 6 or 7 off the board. Like that felt like a no-brainer. So I'm a huge Justin Herbert guy. Hence Burrow, didn't mean that. But this, I think you got to go with the Lance side on this. You're getting so much back because we haven't even seen Trey Lance play. And if there's anything we learned from Zach Wilson is that these top 3 picks, they're going to get a chance to play. So if it's with the Niners or not, he's going to get a chance to play somewhere. And that's all you're looking for in Dynasty. And he's a running quarterback. So that it kind of helps both ways. When he's in there, he's probably going to help your team. And you just get a load of picks, 2024 first round picks. Like one of those picks is probably going to be really good. There's a possibility that you get like 2 inside the top 5 and you can take one of the QBs this year again. And you can, I don't know, maybe draft like a Raheem Rocket Sanders, a guy I like. So I don't know. You're losing Kenneth Walker too. You're losing the best 2 players, but I would say the ceiling is definitely with the first side. So I like the Trey Lance side better.
All right, Jason, what are your thoughts here, man?
This is super tough. However, I've got to go with the Justin Herbert side. I've got to go with the Kenneth Walker side. Those 2 players are amazing, but honestly, it isn't even about Kenneth Walker. This is about Justin Herbert for me. And if I'm looking at this trade, I honestly might not trade Justin Herbert for Trey Lance 3 firsts and a second alone. And I think getting Kenneth Walker within that is fantastic. Justin Herbert last year, second in pass attempts, talk about it time and time again, broken ribs, no offensive line, no weapons, still trusted, still slinging it. Only issue was he wasn't really scoring touchdowns for some reason. That's going to fix itself. And I do believe he's got a long time career. I know you can't really project that, but in a super flex league, getting a guy who more than likely is going to be playing at a high level for 10 more seasons, I'm looking at Justin Herbert here, and I don't care about the good quarterback class coming in. I think if you're dealing 3 firsts away, probably only one of them is good, or really a lot of them are expected to be middle range just because you're sending away so many. And also, I mean, it's almost giving up on your season, sending away probably 2 of the best assets on your team to get picks next year. So I can't in good faith do it. I'm taking Justin Herbert, and I'm riding that guy forever. Terrible verbiage.
Pause. Here we are. So I left off just a little bit of context here, Jason. I was hoping one person would go against the pick side, and the context was given from Team A. He is rebuilding, and now he has Fields, Lance, Levis with Trey Lance. Oh, I said that. So now he'll have Lance, Levis, and Fields, all of these first. Does that sway it in your mind?
It doesn't. It doesn't. And the only thing that makes me like it even less, I don't think that you should be counting on Trey Lance or Will Levis right now as your quarterback 2, much less even your quarterback 3. I think that those are some players that are luxury roster spots in a super flex league. You've got to hold on to Justin Herbert there. Justin Fields, I mean, too, like, because he's a rushing quarterback, we don't know how long he's going to be able to be in the league and how long he's going to be able to play even a fully healthy season. So to even rely on him as your quarterback 1 when you had such a great stack of Justin Herbert and Justin Fields, the Justins, it was right
the
there.
Justins.
You had the Justins and you moved away. So it's, it makes me like it honestly a little less. And I'm sorry to the listener that sent this.
I'm going to break the tie here, and I am going to side with my man, Jason. You're rebuilding. These guys are young. You're talking about a 22-year-old and a 25-year-old. If you're getting 3 first-rounders, one of them hypothetically, or I know this for a fact, I blank out the names, but I know you're getting the team's first that is now getting a superstar quarterback and an elite running back. So that's probably going to be late. And now you're just playing the gamble game, the hope and wait and see. Any quarterback combination with, Sanders, Edwards, or Henderson, you're hoping to get Herbert and Walker. That's what you're hoping for these picks to come to fruition. And like you said, Jason, there's so much positive regression in Justin Herbert's profile. 25 passing touchdowns after throwing for 69 combined over his first 2. He had 147 rushing yards. He had 300 in 2021. He had 0 rushing touchdowns in 2022. He had 8 combined his first 2 years. So many touchdowns are incoming. They got him his first-round receiver. He's got his whole team coming back. He's got Keenan and Mike Williams and Gerald Everett. Austin Eckler will stick around. I think we're going to look at a potential QB1 season. People forget Justin Herbert was QB2 on a points-per-game basis in 2021. So to say that the QB2 from just a year ago still has a ceiling, man, I'm just not ready to give that up. Now, if you insert a quarterback like who's a later guy that I do happen to buy into, I don't know, Bryce Young, Anthony Richardson, one of these rookies like this, maybe that sways me a little bit more. I have more faith, but I'm with Jason. I do not have a whole lot of faith in Trey Lance becoming much of anything in the league. Here we go to trade number 4. It is a 10-teamer, so we are going to a little shallower league, half-point PPR, Superflex, half-point tight end premium, start 10. Team A is receiving Austin Eckler, and Team B is receiving Rashad Bateman and a 24 first. Tyler, what side are you taking?
Well, this feels like just a rebuilding kind of situation, because if you're trading Eckler to get then Bateman in a 2024 first, it just feels like you're trying to get a little bit younger and sell a little higher on Eckler. So you're probably trading Eckler to a contender. So factoring that in, I love Bateman more than anybody. I'm from Minnesota. Like, I watched him beat Penn State, and it was a huge game. It was one of the best games I ever watched in my life. But it's just not working out for him in the league. And it makes me want to cry. It makes me want to cry. It's not working out for him. I don't know. Not to say that it won't. Like, I just feel like it's one of those things where I want it to happen so bad, but it's not. So factoring that in, I feel like you can get a little more for Eckler, right? He's like the number 2 running back right now in redraft. I know we're not supposed to say that word during this week, but he's like
don't use the R word during this show, Tyler. That's your first and only warning.
He's the number 2 running back right now, and it just, like, if you really could trade to a contender, I mean, you get the 2024 first, and if it's the contenders 2024 first that you're getting, it's probably not going to be that good if you're giving them Eckler on top of whatever team they already have. So I feel like I just take the Eckler side. I feel like the Eckler guy won this trade, because if they really have a contending team, then this feels like you got pretty good. You didn't have to give that much away. Like, oh, I gave away Bateman and maybe the 111 in my rookie draft. I'll take that for Eckler to try and win this year.
Yeah, Tyler. And then, how do you feel about the cortisone shot now? Are you even lower on him?
I'm not worried about the cortisone shot, actually. I see all those.
I am. Because cortisone's not long term. That's just you hear about guys getting cortisones more often, like to gut through a couple playoff games, not in June to get through a football season.
So what I saw was, I don't know, when you guys scroll through Twitter, you see the fantasy doctor, like those Twitter accounts. I see all those. So the first one I saw was, this is not good. But then I guess some more news came out about it where it's not the actual bone that's like the problem. Like, structurally, I think everything is fine. It sounds like it's they removed the screws, and something with the screw removal was like causing him pain, I think. So it's not like a structural problem, which sounds great.
Okay.
It's more like the screw removal. I think maybe like somewhere like the screw was left in there or something like that, or there was just a problem taken out. So I think it was just to deal with the pain for the screw removal is what I gathered from that.
See, everybody listening, don't do what I just did and just read the headlines, because that is a massive, massive bit of news. Because what that sounds like to me, and again, I'm not one of these doctors on Twitter, but if he just needed something to gut through the pain as that's like heals, getting the screws out, that makes a lot more sense than him trying to need a cortisone to survive the season. But even having said that, I think this is the perfect type of trade to make if you're trying to win. Give away the 24 first, like you said, Tyler. 111 and Rashad Bateman for Eckler. Yeah. If you're trying to win now, that seems like a no-brainer to me. So I am siding with Eckler. And even if I wasn't a fan of Eckler, I still wouldn't side with Team B, because I just think, like you said, Tyler, you could have gotten a lot more. And if you would have had some patience waiting closer to the season, he looks like he's going to be healthy week 1. I mean, team is going to pay a hell of a lot more than this, I would think. So I'm with you, Tyler. But Jason, I'd love to hear your thoughts on this trade.
Oh, I mean, I'm right there with you guys. And it just really does go back to that. I think you could get more. I do think that getting a 24 first when you're trading away Eckler is the perfect starting point. In fact, that might be one of the only starting points, unless it's maybe another younger running back. But I just like that idea, even if it is trading it to a contender. If Austin Eckler gets hurt immediately, right, then that probably does turn into a higher first-round pick. Mm-hmm. So you can't really quite pencil it into a later pick for sure. But you definitely need something more added on top of it than just Rashad Bateman. Maybe make it Zay Flowers. Maybe make it, screw it, Leonard Fournette and a bunch of other stuff. I don't know. Just like some running back.
You saved yourself a little bit there. You said Leonard Fournette. Like, wait, I'm going to need a whole lot more to bridge that gap.
Yeah, but I'm just trying to say like a running back that's extremely cheap, that has pass catching prowess, that could maybe have a similar season.
Yeah, you could sell. You could theoretically sell halfway through the season if he does.
Yeah.
You're right. You buy low, potentially to sell high.
Yeah, just a little bit more, a lot more even than just Rashad Bateman, who I do think might actually happen this year to just a lesser degree. I do think he has wide receiver 2 to wide receiver 3 written all over him. He's just got to stay healthy. I don't ever think he'll be wide receiver 1 though, for sure.
Okay, good. And see, this is why you guys tune into the show, because we break down these trades, and Jason kind of swayed me a little bit, but I'm still siding with Tyler here. Give me the Eckler side. The next trade that we will be diving into is part of a 12-team half-point PPR Superflex Start 8 plus 5 IDPs. That's really just kind of a fun fact, because as you look at this trade, there is no IDPs involved. But anyway, Gabe Davis in a 24 fifth. Okay, sure. Maybe you just really want to draft a 4th running back or something. I don't know why you want a 5th. But anyway, giving up the 411 in the 308. Tyler, are you making this trade for Gabe Davis?
I feel like the Gabe Davis side here is a win, right? It's like he's actually a player in the NFL, and he's on a really good offense, and he's really good deep threat. So it just feels like who are you getting the 411 or 308 that's gonna really like make a difference? And you gave up a 5th. That's like prime Xavier Hutchinson territory. Like, you know what I mean? So
Xavier Hutchinson.
So
yeah,
I mean, exactly. I feel like this Gabe Davis.
Exactly.
I don't know how it's different. Maybe with the IDPs, like maybe like you're looking to get that stud middle linebacker from Wisconsin who just gets a lot of tackles in the 4th round. But I don't play in IDP leagues, so I wouldn't know. But if we're just talking about this trade straight up, I feel like the Gabe Davis side is an obvious smash.
Jason, you play in more IDP leagues than I do. So if this is a combined rookie draft, is there more value at the 308, 411 than Tyler and I initially thought of?
100%, 100%, 100%. Let me throw some names to this just to really kind of bring home why IDP is so awesome.
This is why you're the best, Jason.
The 308 in last year's my 12-team IDP league, the 308 was Tyler Algier. Pretty plain and simple. I'll go even further down just because I love to do this. Mm-hmm. And this is just to toot my own horn. I got Isaiah Pacheco at the 607. Tyquan Thornton went at the 604. Brian Robinson went at the end of the 5th round. Sauce Gardner, the number 1 cornerback in the NFL, or rookie-wise, 5th round. Derek Stingley, 6th round. Jalen Petrie was one of the last picks of the draft. Ended up being, honestly, he's like IDP 3 right now, just across all positions in Dynasty. So these picks are a lot more valuable.
Okay.
But so is the 5th round pick too. So I do think knowing that it's IDP does kind of make me want these dart throws on the draft picks. I'm not going to lie, because I think at this point we all know what Gabe Davis is. And at best, he's a best ball asset and a daily fantasy asset that you hope and pray for. And that's not necessarily a guy you want on your fantasy football team, because it sucks when you bench him, and it sucks when you start him, because he never blows up in the starting roster. So honestly, yeah, give me those fun coupons, man. Give me the fun coupons.
Oh, see, I love this analysis. That's why we have so much to provide on the show. I mean, I don't know what those picks could have been, but what if I said, boys, that I tricked you? Because in my notes, I know what those picks were.
Nice.
So, Tyler, does this change your mind at all if I tell you that these picks were Sean Tucker and Tank Dell?
Ooh.
Oh yeah, give me Gabe Davis.
Yeah.
I might have to change my Twitter profile picture to the Tank Dell, the amount of times I've taken him in underdog drafts this year. But Gabe Davis, just who was the 5th round pick? Do you have? Oh no, it's 2024. Never mind.
Yeah.
But yeah, Sean Tucker and Tank Dell. I mean, Sean Tucker, like, just great, kind of like great value in maybe about February, before the whole kind of combine medical stuff. But yeah, Gabe Davis.
Yeah, it doesn't sway it for me. But if it was Tank Dell and next year's 3rd or next year's 4th, after hearing what Jason said, then I would have taken the Tank Dell side. If I was getting more, then Sean Tucker, because like you said, Tyler, it's been a bad offseason. So I'm not a big fan.
I may barge in just a little bit. I feel like if you're trading for picks, especially later picks in IDP leagues, you've got to be trading for defensive players. And the one listener that's listening to this and does IDP leagues, at the end of the draft, pretty much take your chance on defensive players, because those guys actually do contribute more often than not. I just talked about Jalen Petrie being one of the last picks of the draft. So
okay,
just stay the course there. Don't take too many dart throws. Unless they're maybe on a good offense, like Pacheco on the Chiefs last year or whatever.
So if this was not Sean Tucker, but an IDP player that you found valuable, it might have swayed it for you.
Definitely. I mean, like, that could probably not Jack Campbell, but maybe like one of like the other linebackers taken in the 1st round or a 2nd round linebacker. And those guys, I mean, linebackers score more points than quarterbacks. So, yeah.
Okay, good to know. Good to know. Wow, you IDP leagues. Wow, boys out there. Wow, boys. Next trade.
They're fun.
Yeah, I'm sure they are. I mean, linebackers score more than quarterbacks. I don't even think my brain can conceptualize. I think that's like me trying to count to 1 trillion. I don't think my brain can handle such computing power. Anyway, let's move on to the next trade. 12-team PPR 1 quarterback, start 9, so very shallow starting lineups. Team A is receiving Chris Godwin, and to do so, they're trading away Trey Lance in the 302. Tyler, what are your thoughts on this trade?
Godwin, it's not close. I mean, I know I just talked up Trey Lance a little bit, like maybe three trades ago, but this is complete. The one quarterback changes everything completely, because
for sure.
You need, like, if you're in a one quarterback league, you probably have to have a better stud than Trey Lance, unless you are just the number 1 Trey Lance truther out there. You got to take Godwin, because I know the rushing upside is intriguing. Yes. He's probably not, I don't think he's going to play in San Francisco. Like, I don't think he's in San Francisco this time next year. It doesn't seem possible. And you're getting Chris Godwin, who was a top 18 wide receiver last year, in a 1 quarterback league. The 302 does nothing for me. It's just it's a throw in. It's whoever made this trade. It's like, oh yeah, we'll even it out. I'll give you the 302. You know what I mean? Just like totally flip. This is the biggest fleece we've seen yet. Chris Godwin, and it's not close.
I actually had Chris Godwin as one of my write-ups for the world famous draft kit, and that draft kit is on the horizon. It will be out real soon. Everyone listen to the show, get ready for the world famous draft kit. We've been putting in a ton of work. Shout out to Mr. OG Theo Gremmage for getting it all organized, but this is going to melt faces when it comes out. Oh, so excited for it. But I had Chris Godwin to write about, and I did not like what I was writing. I am not going to be that in on Chris Godwin for 2023. Having said that, you basically got him for free because in one quarterback, Trey Lance is a $1 scratch ticket, and the 302 is someone's loser scratch ticket that you picked up in the parking lot of the grocery store. So give me the free Chris Godwin share, and I will move on. Jason, how do you see this trade?
Yeah, the only way this is close, the only way is if for some reason they took Trey Palmer with the 302 and Trey Palmer ends up being something. That's the only way this ever ends up being close. Even if Trey Lance pans out, it's not close in a one quarterback league.
In one quarterback, yep.
So yeah, no, give me Chris Godwin for the final hurrah, or maybe even not. Maybe we talked about it at the beginning of the show. Kyle Trask, really might revive Chris Godwin and Mike Evans this year, but it doesn't even matter. Chris Godwin could get like 600 yards and 1 touchdown next year, and this is still a win.
Yeah, absolute win. And to add a little bit more context, first of all, Jason, if you laugh when saying a player's name, I think analysis is out the window at that point. If you can't even hold it together when you say the man's name. But anyway, additional context makes this trade even more bonkos. The team who is getting Chris Godwin also rosters Lamar Jackson, Jared Goff.
Yeah.
So they said
they were going to drop
the crap at the end of my bench. Yeah, they were like, I'm about to drop Trey Lance. Let's see what I can get. Oh, a potential top 24 receiver? Oh, don't mind if I do. Yeah. Good on you, Team A. That's a dynamite trade, especially in Start 9. Next trade, Joe Mixon in the 109 in this year's rookie class for Jaylen Waddle in the 304 in this year's rookie class. It is a 12-team PPR, another one quarterback, even shallower starting lineups. Start 8. Jason, which side are you taking?
The suspense has filled the room now, and I will take the Joe Mixon and 106 side. And I will take the dart throw on the last rookie wide receiver available at the 106. Hopefully it's Quentin Johnston, might be Zay Flowers. I think that's fine. I do firmly believe that Joe Mixon is going to keep things going at least for this season. And I do see a world where you're probably going to be able to trade Joe Mixon mid-season for something really, 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 really sweet. And right now, he's cheap to acquire. In both startups and best ball drafts and trading for, that he's a guy I'm targeting. And then also in this trade, even with a premier asset in Jaylen Waddle, I'm going to take the first round pick and Joe Mixon.
What if I told you that the 106 was used on Dalton Kincaid?
I will take the Joe Mixon, Dalton Kincaid side.
Okay, Tyler. So I am going to reveal now. I love being in the host chair. I just get to drop context on you whenever the hell I want. This is the best. The 106 was Dalton Kincaid. The 304 was Jalen Hyatt. So they got Hyatt and Waddle for Kincaid and Mixon. Tyler, how do you see this trade now?
I don't get. I think even if they took a wide receiver with the 106, I feel like the Jaylen Waddle side is this. I would take this 10 times out of 10. I am so out on Joe Mixon this year. Like, it just doesn't – he wasn't even, like, really that efficient last year. I know he had that, like, 5 touchdown game. Like everyone remembers that. But it's just nothing – do you guys remember any Joe Mixon highlights? I don't. Like, I can't remember, like, oh, remember that one Joe Mixon run? I don't remember any of those runs because he didn't have –
probably had a few, like, 23-yard no touchdowners, like those classics.
Oh, for sure, yeah. The tackle inside the 5. Oh, almost scored a 25-yard touchdown. But Jaylen Waddle, I was looking it up. He's wide receiver 6 on Keep Trade Cut right now. He's literally being propelled as he's a really good dynasty fantasy asset. And the one quarterback, so the 106 in a one quarterback it's devalued so much. Like I actually like Kincaid more than anybody. I think he's going to be kind of a smash pick in redraft this year. I kind of like Kincaid, but it's not better than what you're getting from Jaylen Waddle, especially in a start 8. You're not starting that many guys. So Jaylen Waddle is a guy you can always have in there, and he's going to probably perform. He's going to get anywhere from, I don't know, like 10 to 20 fantasy points a game, depending on if he burst a 70-yard touchdown. So I'm so in on the Waddle side and the Hyatt side too. Like Hyatt, like it could be sneaky good. So the fact that you got him at the 304, it's great on you, sir. I take Jaylen Waddle side every day.
So the rookie tight ends are so, they're so polarizing in terms of where you're at and their value that when you say it, you had to go like, no, I'm kinda a little bit okay with. You have to be sneaky about it because people will be like, "What? Don't you game?" Blah, blah, blah. But I am actually. I think the bingo moment for me when you were breaking that down, Tyler, was Waddle's. The Waddle side was start 8. Give me the superstar. He checks all the boxes. He's in a high-powered offense. He was able to do a lot with Tyreek Hill having a career year, which I think insulates some of his value because it removes that risk of, how is he going to perform with another wide receiver 1? I think he performed quite well. He was 4th last year in yards per route run, number 1 in yards per reception and yards per target. He's a beast down the field. He was 3rd amongst qualified wide receivers in expected points added and 3rd in fantasy points per target. He's super efficient, super deadly on the field, very dangerous weapon. Give me Jaylen Waddle in the start 8 for sure. But I do agree with you, Jason, that later on Mixon will get more value because I think we can all agree they did not perform in this offseason as if they are expecting Mixon to miss time via off-the-field issues.
No, definitely not. Well, and you bring up the start 8 and how much like Waddle means. I mean, I think you're going to be starting Joe Mixon and Dalton Kincaid week in, week out. It's
a good point. There's a good point.
It's right on the line, right? Like you get the younger asset and the great asset in Jaylen Waddle for a guy who's probably got 1 year left in Joe Mixon. But he's on the Bengals and probably the only running back. And then Dawson Knox is a non-factor. If he was a factor, he would have done something last season. He didn't. That's why they brought in Dalton Kincaid so early. We already talked about how much we don't really like Gabriel Davis as well. Like Dalton Kincaid does have some great ceiling. It's just, I think that this team is going to be better positioned with Joe Mixon and the tight end. I really do.
Good point. Good analysis. But me and Tyler are right, no doubt about it.
You guys are wrong.
Yeah. Yeah. I wish I could, Max. I could have just muted your mic right there. Next trade, boys, is a big one that I am contractually obligated to remove myself from because I cannot give fair analysis. But Team A is acquiring the dog, the big man, wide receiver, Jamar Chase. And to get him, they're trading away DJ Moore, the 102, a 2024 5th and a 2024 4th. This is 12-team, half-point PPR, Superflex, start 11, no IDPs. So we understand that there is no value of the 4th and 5th. So this is essentially DJ Moore and the 102 for Jamar Chase. Is that enough, Tyler?
Can I trade for Jamar Chase for this haul in my leagues? Because I feel like you're getting DJ Moore. We'll see. I feel like it's still kind of a wait and see. It's been a wait and see kind of his whole career. The 102, it's probably some form of Richardson or Bryce Young. It's kind of what it's not if Bijan goes 101. And then after that, it's the 5th and the 4th. So it's pretty much just comes down to DJ Moore / Richardson and Young for Jamar Chase. I feel like Jamar Chase's value is a lot higher than that. So I'll definitely take Jamar Chase, the fantasy superstar, the 101 in most startup drafts. So I'll give him at least one QB. Give me Jamar Chase.
Jason, how do you see this trade?
I wish this was trade court because I would be dishing out a brutal, and I mean brutal, punishment for the team trading Jamar Chase here. I don't get it.
You do love that.
I don't get it at all. The only on today's episode of First Class Fantasy, they were talking about what it would take to trade Justin Jefferson. And my answer to that question, not that I was asked, but I'm answering it now, is I'm only trading Justin Jefferson or Jamar Chase for the other one plus. So if I have Jamar Chase, I'm only going for Justin Jefferson plus. If I have Justin Jefferson, I'm only going for Jamar Chase plus. Those two players are the best assets to own in Dynasty Fantasy Football. It's really not even close unless it's super flex leagues. Of course, we bring in the quarterbacks, but Anthony Richardson, even if he turns into Patrick Mahomes, I still feel like you could get a little bit more here for Jamar Chase.
So I'm going to take a ride to Shameless Plug City because I can't really give unbiased analysis here. I do have DJ Moore as my breakout candidate wide receiver. I do think this is the year he ascends to the levels that we have always thought a kid with this talent could get, which I mean top 15, top 18 wide receiver on a points per game basis. So I absolutely love DJ Moore. I think what he will do in that Chicago offense will be very similar to what AJ Brown did. People forget how bad Jalen Hurts' efficiency and accuracy metrics were before AJ Brown came to town. And they did throw the ball 29 least. I'm talking about the Eagles before AJ Brown. They were only at 23, ranked 23rd in team pass attempts per game. So it wasn't like this massive come to Jesus moment in terms of chucking the rock. I think similar factors are in play with DJ Moore, so I love him for 2023. Having said that, come on, A-Rich and DJ Moore is not enough for Jamar Chase. Jamar Chase he's him. And I think I'm with you, Jason. If I have Chase or Jefferson, people are not going to want to ever come to me with trade because the only way I'm thinking about is if you can give me something on top of the other one. And that's just a hard ask for anyone to move in terms. I know I wouldn't. I wouldn't give up Chase plus to get Jefferson. I wouldn't give up Jefferson plus to get Chase.
No.
So it's a hard ask, but I'm with you there. And as much as I love DJ Moore, buddy, I guess I'd have to trade you here because this is way too good to pass up on Jamar Chase. The price is so good here for Jamar Chase getting, again, like you guys both mentioned, one of the best dynasty assets, no matter the format. Let's move on to the next trade. Before I start, you're going to make me cry.
I'm sorry. I just
hypothetically traded DJ Moore away.
I'm sorry. It's just, I have to take it aside here. Is there anything better looking in the NFL than Jamar Chase in the white Bengals uniform, the visors rocking? It's perhaps snowing a little bit. Like it's just so good that's a guy you want on your team, plain and simple.
Yeah, it is. So. No, you dried my tears quickly because that is true. And I was just using DJ Moore's autograph RPA rookie to cut away there for a second. Moving on, this is a 12-team half-point PPR Superflex start 11. Ooh, this is going to be an interesting one. Team A is getting a 24 first. And to do so, they're trading away Treylon and a 24 third. Treylon was a first-round pick in rookie drafts just a year ago. Tyler, is this the type of trade you're trying to make? And if you're looking to get a 24 first?
I think this is tough for me. This is a really interesting trade. I think it all depends on where that 2024 first is going to be. I think that's the deciding factor. Because we don't really have the contender one we had with the Eckler one, so we can't really project it. I don't know if you have any information on where you think that the 2024 first will be, but if we're just assuming it's a mid first, so like let's just say the 106, I think I take a shot with Burks, honestly. I really like Treylon Burks, especially this year, and he is going to be the only guy in that offense outside of unless you really like Chico Conquest. And I like him too, but if we're just talking wide receivers, it's Treylon Burks. I think Robert Woods led the Titans last year with like 500 or 600 yards or something, or like it was a crazy low number. I couldn't believe it when I saw it. And now Treylon Burks, he flashed some talent last year. I know he was hurt in a couple of games, so he missed some time with injuries, but I like the talent of Burks. I don't think he did anything last year that would be like, okay, like he's not that guy. So I'll take a shot on Burks if we're just assuming like 106 plus maybe you get lucky with the third. So I'll take the Burks side, but it's close.
Jason, how do you see this trade?
It is tough. I like that you mentioned that Treylon Burks was a first round pick last year, and that's kind of what it comes down to. Is do you want to wait, or do you just want to trust the process that we all went through a whole year ago and go with a guy who was also a first round pick, who didn't really show anything wrong? And I think the answer to that is you've just got to roll with the asset that's already in the league and just see what happens. And then you have the extra little third round pick thrown on top. That could be something, not really factoring into the decision, but it's nice. I don't think I would trade straight up for a first round pick, but I think just getting the third is kind of enough to set it over on top. And yeah, I mean, Tyler already said it. He's going to be the guy in Tennessee. And it's just, even with 25 pass attempts a game, it's still really good, especially in a play action offense. Some of those are going to be touchdowns. A good bit of those are going to be broken play touchdowns. So give me Burks. Let's see what happens with him. Let's see what happens.
I'm going to take the first here. I think if I had Burks in this move, I would take the first. We are all just really latching onto that Week 11 performance against the Packers, and for good reason.
Yeah,
He only had a 55% snap share, only ran 18 routes. He saw 8 targets, caught 7 of them for over 100 yards. He really balled out. He made that great play over the middle going deep against Jair Alexander. So there is absolute promise in his profile. But I think at this time of year, getting the first, you're kind of setting yourself up for with just a little bit of luck. The Burke side starts 0-2, even if it's projected to be really good. That first could go up, and you could get a receiver that you're a little bit more confident in 2023 going forward. Maybe even someone like Burks or someone even better. So I think giving me the flexibility and the chance to move that in the future, I don't think Burks is enough of a certainty for me to not take that trade. So in this format, I would take the trade halfway PPR, but I get the idea because you kick the can down the road every year. Eventually, you got to pick that can up, and Burks is in that example. So you draft him with a first round pick last year. To already trade him for a first seems a bit, maybe not great process overall. But even having said that, I still would take the first because I think what I would want to do is potentially flip that in the season for an asset that can truly help me win here. But that's just bringing my own kind of thought process into it. It's not always going to be the best way to go about it. But that's just how I would do it. That's how I think.
That's a great point. It's a great point. That could be Austin Eckler in week 8.
That's why you're my guy.
Like it really could be.
That's why you're my guy. You're my boy, Jason. That's why we're brethren here. You got my back here. Got 2 trades left. Let's get into trade number 10. Holy cow, we are cranking tonight. Bijan Robinson, Puka Nacua, and a 24-second for Justin Jefferson. We talked about Jamar Chase, boys. Now we're going to talk about Jetta. 12-team PPR, 1 QB, start 9. Tyler, how do you see this trade playing out?
Yeah, I'll take the Jefferson side. It really just comes down – it pretty much just feels like you value Jefferson or Bijan more. Like the 24-second, I guess, kind of maybe moves it. Puka doesn't do anything for me. And so it really comes down to Bijan or Jefferson, also factoring in its PPR. I think I'd go Jefferson just because we talked about it. He's the one or two number like best position player in fantasy football. So I'll take Jefferson, and I love Bijan though. I'm a big Falcons guy. Love Bijan, but I don't think he's going to be used the way that everybody thinks he's going to be used this year. So I'll take Justin Jefferson.
Jason, how do you see this trade?
I hate it.
It's tearing at your heart a little bit.
Yeah.
Welcome to how I felt about that DJ Moore trade, pal.
No, yeah,
even though that DJ Moore trade is definitely more egregious than this one.
Definitely. I'll say this: with running backs, you can't expect more than like 3 or 4 years. So, with that being said, you've got to go Justin Jefferson here. You're buying high on Bijan Robinson. Simply just how it is. The rookie running back is always overvalued before the season starts in dynasty leagues. We talked about Bryce Hall and Kenneth Walker last season going for what Bijan Robinson is going for this season. When it's all said and done, he's going to lose tons of lifetime value points. He's going to lose tons of value in general. The shine will have worn off, and he's just going to be a great running back on a division-winning team and perhaps a playoff game-winning team in the Atlanta Falcons. But that's still not enough. Still not enough to get Justin Jefferson. Plain and simple. I don't think there's a single running back going back a lot of time. Maybe all the way back to Christian McCaffrey's rookie season, where you could make a case for maybe Christian McCaffrey rookie for Justin Jefferson. Maybe, but it takes so much. And Puka Nacua and a second-round pick a whole year from now, not enough. Not enough.
Yeah, this is not enough. Every single time we've had a few Justin Jefferson trades come through Trade Gods, and there have been some decent ones we've thought about, but I feel like we always take Jefferson side. This is where we're all kind of just lockstep here in terms of that asset in Dynasty. Jefferson, Chase, they are just destroyers. They are just that. I mean, that's what you build your franchise around, and Jefferson is on a Hall of Fame pace that I don't know if we've ever seen. 1,400, 1,600, 1,800 yards. It's been a long time since I've taken one of these standardized tests, but if I'm doing a little deductive reasoning here, he's going for 2K, right, boys?
That's Chase, but yeah, he's getting there.
The Vikings might
You
throw
can't
the
just
ball.
insert Chase here. I'm talking about Jefferson.
The
Chase
Vikings
is
are going to
getting
throw the
2K.
ball so much this year. The cards are it's so in the cards for the Vikings to kind of not have the winning season they had last year, because I don't think that's going to be the case. But their defense is worse than it was last year, which is hard to believe. They don't have Dalvin Cook anymore, so there goes their run game. I don't think Alexander Madison's going to be top 10 in rushing this year. And you got Hawkinson, Addison, Kirk, and Jefferson. They're going to throw the ball every chance they get.
Ton.
It's Kevin O'Connell comes from that Cooper Kupp, Sean McVay offense where Kevin O'Connell, he was the OC of the year that Cooper Kupp set the fantasy world on fire. He comes over and he does the exact same thing with Justin Jefferson. And now they're going to probably throw the ball more than they did last year in a season where Jefferson was the best. So unless barring injury, Jefferson's going to have another smash. This might be like one of the only the first year in a while where the wide receiver 1 actually repeats as the wide receiver 1 the next year, because I don't think we've had it since Antonio Brown.
Ooh, and Antonio Brown is one of my favorites of all time for
Rest
fantasy.
in peace, his Arena League football team, by the way.
Oh my God!
I was really hoping to get to a game.
Continues.
I was really hoping to get to a game. I guess I can't make it now.
Bizarre, but this is all Vontaze Burfict's fault. We've talked about it in the past. But anyway, that's a topic for another podcast. I just want to give a quick shout out to the Man vs. Machine show here in Dynasty Week. Theo OG Greminger had to fill in for Billy as he was out of town, but Dario and Theo killed it. They had Heath Cummings on from CBS Fantasy, and they talked about how Bijan's his presence in the Atlanta Falcons offense will affect other players in fantasy like Drake London. So check out that episode of Man vs. Machine. It was a great show this week, and they killed it for Dynasty Week. Here we are, boys, almost at the finish line. One trade left to break down. Let's get into it. Team A is acquiring Jeff Wilson, a 2024 second, and KJ Osborne for Alexander Mattinson. I will do you both the pleasure of giving the context immediately before giving your answers. Team A also has Saquon, Breece Hall, Javonte Williams, Antonio Gibson, and Isaiah Pacheco. So they do not theoretically need Alexander Madison. So with that knowledge, Tyler, which side of this trade are you taking?
If they definitely don't need a running back. I feel like it's a decent haul for Madison. I feel maybe we could have. I feel like everyone's out there saying to sell high, but is anyone actually buying high? Have we seen like a Madison trade where you got like a really nice dynasty piece? I haven't seen one like on Twitter or really on anything. So I think everyone thinks like it's like, oh yeah, you held Madison, now he has value, but does he really have the value? Because it's one of the things where everyone recognizes the fact that he actually might not have value, because it's the most shocky thing just to say, oh, Madison's like the step-in guy. So I want to say you could have got more, but I don't even know if that's possible. So if you don't need the running back, I guess, take the shot with Osborne. He could be the wide receiver too in an offense, like we just said, could pass the ball a ton this year if he's really better than Addison. And he had some really good games last year, like some really I think like couple double-digit reception games, like 160 yards, 80 yards, something like he had really good games. And then you get the 2024 second, maybe you get lucky, you hit on like a third-round running back who ends up being something. So I'll take the Wilson Osborne 20, the pick side.
For sure. Jason, what do you think here?
Yeah, I mean, I have seen Madison go for like a little bit more. I feel like the starting ground for those trades has kind of been a 24 first. But to just move that down to a second, get a guy who's probably going to get 8 points a game, and then KJ Osborne, who might get around the same amount, I guess it's fine. I don't know. I'm definitely on the side getting the assets. I just feel like they could have maybe got a little bit more, or maybe consolidated KJ Osborne and Jeff Wilson to be a little bit more. I am one of those guys that's just not in the Jeff Wilson camp. I do believe it's A-Chain, Mostert, then Wilson. And if they sign Cook, that Wilson's the man out. So that's kind of what's putting the sour taste in my mouth. I just don't see as much coming from him. I do like KJ Osborne. I think he's a buy. I think people have faded him because of Jordan Addison, but he's still going to get a decent amount of volume in a team that we're projecting to pass a lot more. So I do like that asset, and you're staying with the Vikings as well. So it's good enough. I think that you could probably consolidate the two actual players for something a little bit better, just a little bit.
Yeah, I did. I was searching Twitter here because I wanted to bring some sort of trade to the table that would make you guys go, oh, this was possible. Nick Pentakoff on Twitter. He's a great follow. Make sure you check him out. Does a lot of like prospect breaking down, stuff like that. He said in one of his dynasty leagues, he saw Alexander Madison traded for Cole Kmet, a first and a second.
Wow.
Yeah.
So there are some loony bins.
Okay, so
there.
maybe there is. Yeah, if you can get that, go do it. Go do it right away.
Of course. But I think here with the context that he provided of all of these running backs, I mean, there is a scenario where he needs a running back. There's that many injuries. But I think the second he could go ahead and make that type of trade. But if he had one less, let's just say he was just listing, Gibson, Pacheco, and Saquon, I think I would hold on to Madison for this return just in case you need him for a rainy day. But that's going to not be the case here given his running back depth. And boys, what a marathon of some breaking downs. Before we say goodnight, do you want to do a little buy or sell before we say goodnight to the people?
Yeah.
I do.
Let's knock it out.
Do it.
It's time to buy and sell.
So today we are continuing our journey through the ranks 11 through 20. We have two players listed, Ken Walker third and the Slim Reaper, Devonta Smith. Are they buys or are they sells? First, let's start with the Slim Reaper. Tyler, is Devonta Smith a buy or a sell in Dynasty?
If I have to pick one, I'll say sell. Otherwise, I'll probably say hold. He just feels like a guy who it's kind of like the Jaylen Waddle argument a little bit, at least while Tyreek Hill is there, because he's not going to be the number one unless there's an injury. He's always going to be the number two. But the number two in a really good offense, I guess it would be like T. Higgins be a better example, I think. The number two in a really good offense behind a really good receiver is still a really valuable role. I think it would all depend on what I could get for him. I'm not necessarily looking to sell him. I don't think it's one of those situations where, you need to sell him because of this or something like that. So if you could get something really good for him, like if you could get one of those guys like T. Higgins plus, or even like I'd probably do Jaylen Waddle for Devonta Smith straight up, but I would do those things. But I'm not necessarily looking to sell him, but if you can get something for him, then I don't see a problem with exploring that possibility.
I don't really have a whole lot to add there, Tyler. I kind of think we're lockstep in our thinking here. He's a sell because his value is so high, not because we don't believe in the player. We believe that we can extract some value either trading him for another receiver plus like a T. Higgins, like you mentioned. If you look at the Player Profiler Dynasty rankings, we have a new tool where you can adjust our rankings based on your strategy. Win now, neutral, or rebuild, which to me, it's the best new tool in fantasy football. And if you look at these ranks here, you break up the wide receivers for win now. Devonta Smith is wide receiver 13. That puts him in the range of Devontae Adams, T. Higgins, Drake London, JSN, DJ Moore, a whole bunch of guys that you could get something on top of, or you could get a little something on top of it to get your Jaden Waddles, Amon-Ra St. Brown, or even like you mentioned, Tyreek Hill. So beasts in the game. So I think I would check the value there. So I'm with you, Tyler. Jason, what are you doing here with Devonta? You buying or selling?
I'm going against you guys here. I am definitely buying Devonta Smith. I am probably close to a Tyler that he probably classifies a little bit more as a hold. But
yeah,
I do believe at the very least, if you're paying up for Devonta Smith, you're never really going to lose value. I do view him as a very consistent mid to low end wide receiver one for basically the rest of his career. I can't really think of a comparable player, maybe because a wide receiver hasn't won the Heisman in over 20 years, and this is the only one who's done it. But the fact that he's the wide receiver 2 helps him in some ways. Easier coverage, right? Plus, AJ Brown does have some injury history. There is some times that he'll step into that wide receiver 1 role. But even then, with AJ Brown, he was fantastic from week 13 on. 21-point game, 17-point game, 17-point game, 31-point game, 20-point game, 30-point game, 18-point game, a 5-point game in the NFC Championship where they were just routing the 49ers, and then a 17-point game in the Super Bowl. Definition of consistency. At Alabama, took until year 3 to truly break out after taking a step forward every single year. Now going into his 3rd year in the NFL, perhaps there's some more on the table. And we talk about him being wide receiver 10. Last year, he was top 10 in route participation, snap share, receptions, receiving yards, yards after catch, expected points added, total points. I think a lot of the times we talk about when a player's high, you want to sell them, you're going to be able to get value here. They might drop, but in the world where I view Devonta Smith, he could drop, but I also don't necessarily see him dropping past like wide receiver 14. And he could probably even go up as high as a top 5 wide receiver. I mean, if anything happens to A.J. Brown, he's being skyrocketed up the board, and he'll have 2 years of route running experience within the NFL. He's just a guy I love. Definition of consistency for me. I'm going to stick with him for sure.
Tyler, I think I'm switching sides here. I think he's swaying me.
I started off by saying he was more of a hold. I said I'm not looking to go out there and sell. I'm just saying, well, I still think I'd rather have T. Higgins plus than Devonta Smith.
Fair enough. Real quick, rapid fire. James Martin in the chat. He's asking, would you trade the Slim Reaper for C.J. Stroud in PPR Superflex rebuild? Yes or no, Tyler?
Probably not. Just because C.J. Stroud doesn't have that rushing ability. If it was Anthony Richardson, I think I'd say yes. Just because I like to gamble. I'm a gambler at heart. But yeah, so I would not for C.J. Stroud though. I just feel like it might be a little bit before we actually see Houston turn that offense around. I'll take the proven wide receiver and a really good offense. I'll take Devonta Smith.
Jason, yes or no?
I think I would do it. I think you could get a little bit more thrown on top, so maybe I technically wouldn't, but I think it's close enough to where it's worth it in a super flex league. I am a believer in CJ Stroud, and I'm a believer in the Houston Texans. We talked about Jalen Petrie when we were talking about IDP leagues, but the Houston Texans did come alive in terms of defense last year, and they've only added to their offense and brought in a fantastic defensive coordinator to be the head coach in D'Amico Ryans, who I believe will be changing their culture. The offensive coordinator they brought in is from the 49ers Shanahan tree. So I am a believer in those Texans. I think that is an organization moving in the right direction. And so, yeah, I think I might actually take the gamble and go for Stroud, given it's a super flex league. But I do think you could probably get a little bit of a cherry on top.
I am not going to do that. Your speech just made me want to run through the wall for the Slim Reaper, and I ain't changing it out, baby. I'm going Devonta Smith there. But Ken Walker, Tyler, where you at? Mr. Walker, are you buying or selling?
I love Ken Walker. I absolutely love Ken Walker. You watch him play, the way he might be. If we're talking pure runner, I honestly think he's in like that Nick Chubb, like that kind of like running. He's just so good on the ground, man. He's so much fun to watch. He just some of the plays he gets out of, even like at Michigan State, like we realized how I don't know, this isn't a college podcast, but Michigan State, when he left, they were not good at all. They had no identity. He was these running backs who are like Heisman picks, these are really good NFL players. And I feel like history has kind of shown us that if you're in the Heisman kind of discussion, you're going to be a really good NFL running back. So he had a great season when he was the guy last year. I mean, he was before the whole Charbonnet debacle. He was like what, a running back like 3 or 4. Was he 1
in Dynasty rankings? We had him at RB1.
Yeah,
we had him at 1.
So it's like now, okay, so they drafted a 2nd round running back. Like now we're supposed to just completely fade for all the reasons we liked him. Now we're supposed to now he's not as good. Like Charbonnet might cut into his workload a little. But even if he does, like we've seen these 50-50 backfields be good, and this is going to be a really good offense. If it was like, I don't mean to go everything you said of the Texans, but if he was on the Texans and this was the same situation, like I probably wouldn't like it as much. But Seattle's a really good offense. Their O-line's good. They're going to score a lot of points. So I feel like there might be a more than enough to go around, kind of like a Saints situation with Kamara and Ingram. They both finished as a top 12 running back. So I like Ken Walker, especially if you can buy the dip right now on him. I think your dynasty team's really gonna benefit from that.
Jason, what are your thoughts here on Mr. Ken Walker? You buying, you selling?
Definitely. I love Kenneth Walker. I'm buying into him. We talk about, he can't catch the ball, but he had a 6 reception game last year. He had another game where he had 5 targets, mostly just screens, but he was good with those, kind of like Pacheco was in the playoffs, where, just got like 10, 15 yards after a catch. Doesn't really matter. I don't think he'll have that role as much next season, but he doesn't really need it. Tyler brought up Nick Chubb. Fantastic comparison. They brought in Kareem Hunt, and he maybe took away some points from Nick Chubb, but Nick Chubb was still incredibly efficient and a good fantasy asset. Same here with Kenneth Walker. He's only 22 years old. He's got an incredible profile, 3rd in breakaway runs last season on a good offense. fallen enough in value as well where it's a buying window, yeah, give me Kenneth Walker, man.
I was able to draft Kenneth Walker at the 305 in our single quarterback startup league that the three of us are in, which is a ton of fun. Big shout out to Matt for setting that up for Dynasty Week. There's been a lot of trades, a lot of fun, having two trade gods in there. What did you expect? Of course, we were going to go in there and fuck shit up. But yeah, I took him at the 305, so I do believe there's a bit of a dip right now in his value. Yeah. Last year, he didn't really start getting touches until week 5. Remember, he missed week 1, and he was under 50% snap share. Matter of fact, he was under 40% snap share weeks 2, 3, 4. So then in week 5, he started getting some touches. So even in a little bit of a truncated season, like you mentioned, 3rd most breakaway runs, 10th most evaded tackles. He had 4.8 yards per touch. He was great at juking, so he was able to create on his own. I think that this guy is a pure runner, a great runner, like you both mentioned. So I am also looking to buy Mr. Kenneth Walker. And you mentioned the times where he did become a bit of a presence in the passing game. But I also want to talk about the times where he wasn't. In week 17, 18, he only had 1 target in each of those games, no touchdowns, was still a top 17 running back those weeks. So, I mean, the guy can run for a ton of yards. He can produce. He doesn't have to be running, dependent on catches. I know we love that in terms of ceiling, but I'm looking to buy, and you know what that means, boys.
Bye.
Yeah, baby. You know where I was going with this. Of course I was going to InSync. Those are 3 buys in a row. So you're looking at that InSync special with Mr. Ken Walker. Buy. Boys, what a great episode here tonight. We went through 11 freaking trades, 2 buys and sells, and it was a ton of fun. But before we go, Tyler, please tell everyone where they can find you on socials, where they can get all your work, because, my man, this is our first time getting a chance to work together, but I'm super excited that you're part of the squad. I've been watching, your mock draft lives, episodes, all that good stuff. I'm really excited to work with you, man. So just tell all the people they can find you.
Yeah, likewise. I PPR Tyler on Twitter. Might have to change it to Tyler Football because that's what everyone's calling me around here now.
Tyler Football, baby.
I changed it, and now people are calling me something different. So we'll see. We'll see if that Twitter name's still available. But yeah, kind of just do like you said, doing all the rounds on some of the shows. Mock Draft Live was on Writers Roundtable last night, which is a lot of fun. I think I'll be on the game plan here coming up soon, right? I think next month.
Yes, sir. July 1, the weekend of July 1. Tyler will be on the game plan.
Wrote up some stuff for the world famous draft kit as well. So check out. I think off the top of my head, who did I write up? Like Devin Singletary, I remember that was one, and
nice.
Brandon McManus. Go check out my Brandon McManus.
The studs.
That comes up. Yeah, just I'm getting the best guys in the space round, the best guys doing it. So go check that out. And by the way, Matty, I think somebody sent you a trade offer in the Dynasty Starter.
I got 2 offers.
I was okay
in my inbox.
And you're on the clock.
I'm on the clock. I got like a half hour left. I got time.
Maybe it can be an overtime segment that we do. Just break down that trade offer.
Oh, okay. Stick around for that. Jason, tell the people they can find you.
10 a.m. Monday through Friday, Wake and Take. We are talking football in the mornings while sipping on some coffee. It's great. It's fun. I answer your questions, everything. So please tune into those. If you don't follow our Instagram or Facebook, make sure you do that. Player Profiler on Facebook, Roto Underworld on Instagram. And then, of course, you can find me here Thursday nights doing the best show on the Player Profiler Network, Trade Gods, every single week with my man, my friend, Matty Kiwoom. It's great. My Trade God brethren. It's fantastic. It's fantastic. So I hope we see you guys again next week. And then my Twitter is @JFootballWine.
You can follow me at Matty Kiwoom on Twitter. Make sure you're following everything that Player Profiler has going on. Like this YouTube page, or follow this YouTube page. Smash the like button on this video. Follow our Instagrams, our TikToks. Oh my God, we got so much in the works. You guys are going to want to stay tuned for everything in store at Player Profiler. He's Jason Allwine. I'm Matty Kiwoom. We are the Trade Gods, and we'll see you next week. Peace.